going to give you a little bit of history because he has a unique perspective about the newspaper. So I'm going to let him do that.
Okay, so as some of you may or may not know, I am an alum of the high school. I graduated in 1995. I also have the distinction of being the first editor of the Wingspan, which was started in my sophomore year, 1992-93. We used to be called The Town, and prior to that. When I took over, we got a new advisor. We went back to using newsprint. So I'm really excited to be able to stand here and see you guys resurrect something that is very near and dear to my heart, because when I was a student doing this back in those dim dark days of 486 computers before they even invented Windows 95, and I used to actually drag my computer in, the entire thing, big box, monitor, everything, into school to put this newspaper together. To give you a little bit of background of the history of what came before where we are now. I also am the advisor for the yearbook, and this here is the oldest copy of a Spice that I have. Spice started in 1896. This is a copy from October of 1898. So what people don't realize is, Spice has been a yearbook for a long time, but it didn't start out that way. What it started out as was a literary magazine, and people would write stories, humorous things and whatnot. They would also put in information about alumni. They would put in some stuff about the then just starting sports teams, little stuff like that. As time went on, one of the things they started to do, really in the early 1920s, was to include all that literary stuff, but then they started to include things like this, okay? Pictures like the way we think of what a yearbook is. So then what became clear to the students was that this document couldn't do it all. There were just too many things that Spice was trying to be for the school as it got bigger, and there were more and more needs for trying to do these things. So they started a newspaper in 1928, in June. So this is a copy here, December 18th, 1928 issue of what came to be called High I News. So the news of the high school, High I, lasted from 1928 through the move to New Eisenhower High School in 1938, all the way until this building was built and opened in the 73-74 school year. Then they decided, hey, let's name it again, rename it, because it's a whole new building and a new day. So it became the Town. You know what a town is? It's the claw of an eagle. So when I was on the Town as a freshman, I always thought that the name Town was kind of evil. So, but again, we decided to kind of reinvent it again. So we went back to newsprint, just like what you guys laid out and have presented all for us to see today. And we decided again to rename, new rebirth, and we talked about the wingspan, the eagle spreading its wing, and that's what we did. And then we had journalism class came in and we were very strong, and then some things happened where participation dwindled and whatnot, and we went into kind of a stagnation several years without a paper, and I'm really pleased and excited that you guys are all here today. We have the new paper, and that it's all coming back. I think Mr. Doyley said it was volume 83, 82, so somewhere in there. We were having a little bit of discussion as to exactly what it was because of some of those years, but know that you're a part of a very long history of the news, the reporting, of the things that have gone on in this high school for many decades, and you perform a valuable role. The yearbook chronicles in one book everything that goes on, but the newspaper brings things more immediately to what is going on in the school. So you're letting people know much sooner than I can at the end of the school year what's going on month by month. These are the things that are happening, what people are thinking. So I congratulate you and wish you all the best of luck as you continue through this year. Good for you. Thank you.
I forgot to introduce myself, but I do know most of you. My name is Mrs. Colleton. I'm the advisor and the teacher of the school publication classes. So I wanted to give you an idea of how we're going on our journey here with the newspaper. And so we had to make our Wingspan cover the past that's come before us that Mr. Schmalbach just gave you a little view of, and also the present, which includes things like our electronic media that many of us are so connected to. After this absence from circulation for a little bit, it was proposed last spring by the English department, and it was put through by our administration and became the school publications classes. We have 2 classes running, and those students actually work together even though they meet at 2 different times. And we now have a management/editorial team that helps make all of that a cohesive running machine. So we have a blog, and our blog editor, our online editor, is not here today. She wasn't able to make it. But this is the new face of the blog. The editors who put this together, Ben and Gabby and Maddie, who couldn't be with us today, actually worked, I think, 7.5 straight hours on the Tuesday before we had to send off to the printer. And they came up with this new face of the blog, and they've really worked beautifully together. It was just wonderful to sit back and watch these 3 take some ownership of what should be the students. Okay. So if you ever want to visit the blog, it's Eagles Wingspan, wordpress.com. I'm just going to show you some of the things that we have there because some of your students are highlighted. So on the blog, we have a variety of things going on. We have some fashion articles. We have our new logo contest because, again, we're trying to keep a little bit of the old, but also give it a new image, a fresh look. So we are running a logo contest for 2 reasons: to help get our name out there and make sure people know what the Wingspan is, and also to give students a way to interact in a really constructive and valuable way, and have them make it their own. Okay. So that's coming up. We also have, so we have our fashion. We have, the sagging issue. We have fun fall festivities, okay, that students and families can go and attend. We have a quote of the day. Every school day, we have some of our things that are being run by our clubs, Thanksgiving food drive and such. We have a little bit of history. A few things. And Maddie, her goal is to make sure that we have something to publish every day. So if you follow us, you will get something new every day, and also it will feed into a Twitter account if you are a Twitter user. So the students are really trying to make this as easily accessible to increase our readership as possible. And now for the moment that we've been waiting for. So the other day, we had a Wingspan Club meeting, and these are some of our students, not all of whom could make it today, but this was when we all pushed over the boxes, took out the scissors, and cut open, and I had to have the students do it because I had fears that it was going to come out in all black pages, and we were just going to be doomed. So thankfully it came out in print. We have a newspaper, and we want to share it with you today. I would say to you that these students need to be commended. They've done a tremendous job in working together, despite the fact that we've split them into 2 classes. Yes, I've taught them some of the skills, but they really have some wheels turning in those heads. They are coming up with story ideas quicker and quicker. I counted today for our next issue, we already have 20-some story ideas, and all are pretty valid, and I'm excited to see them in print. So your students are doing a really, really remarkable thing. They're learning some real-life skills. We are using what is considered the professional standard as far as the programs that the school district has given us to use. So they're learning some things that can be used outside of high school and will serve them well, especially if they want to go into communications. So I applaud you for encouraging them in this way, and I applaud our students who really took this and ran with it. Congratulations, guys. Help me release the paper.